Alright, you guys have to be the model class because this is getting filmed for 7th period since there's a walk-a-thon. They are all getting to watch the video tonight rather than being model class. Yeah. So you're going to be the model class, which means you don't shout out when I'm talking. Alright, so you are now algebra students. Welcome to the world of algebra. You have your first lesson today on solving equations. Raise your hand if you've ever solved an equation. Most of you have. Okay, last year your teacher taught you hopefully a little bit about solving equations. Each year from now until you get into algebra, so this year and probably next year, is all prep for algebra. We're getting you ready for that big algebra class that you must take and pass to graduate high school. So the first thing you're going to learn in algebra is solving equations, and today we're going to work on that. So the first thing I need to do is completely change your way of thinking about the equal sign. Okay? So I want to know what you think right now. What does an equal sign mean? What does that mean to you? Raise your hand. Who you want to talk? Dylan? Okay, it means the answer. That's perfect. That's what I wanted you to say. So far in your mathematical careers, the equal sign has been, all right, get ready, here comes the answer, right? It's this plus this minus this equals, and then this big ol' answer. Okay? That's what the equal sign up until this point has meant, right? Agree? Erase it. Erase it from your mind, clear your brain, okay? The equal sign now means, and some of you already know this, put up your hands like this. Okay? You are now a balance, all right? The equal sign means, and it's always meant this, you've just never been taught this.
It's in the basket, I'm sure. You can just go back to class.
This now means equals,
okay, it should be
means that what's on this side of the equal sign is the same as what's on this side. They're balanced. The equal sign is a balance. It means whatever over here is the same as whatever's over here. So on your paper, this is your time to shine as an artist, you're going to draw a balance. Okay, that's the easiest balance that I can draw. And you notice over there, underneath my basketball poster, is a balance. Okay? And it's unbalanced right now. And it's really fluffy.
Good job, Mrs. Stevens.
It's from Mr. Brewer.
I
stole one of his balances. So I'm going to set it up here as a reminder that equal now means that
it is
balanced. And that needs some help because it's not balanced. Maybe these things, maybe red's heavier than, or yellow's heavier than red. So the equal sign now means balance. You can put a little equal sign right here. Okay? In your balance, in the middle, in the middle of your balance, we're going to distract people for days. In the middle of your balance, I want you to put an equal sign. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you about this variable we've been talking about. Okay? This variable isn't just ordinary x. This variable has a certain personality. Okay? Raise your hand if you'd rather be alone than with 1,000 people. If you raise your hand, you're probably an introvert. You wouldn't want to raise your hand in the crowd. So that's a bad question. But most people, if you're an introvert, that means you'd rather just be by yourself than with a big crowd of 1,000 people. Okay? Some people, that totally stresses them out. Some people love to be around people. It energizes them. Okay? So X is super not social. Okay? X loves to be isolated, loves to be by itself. Whenever it's around anything else, any numbers or any other variables, it gets angry. And it gets mad. And it's just irritating. Okay? So we're going to continue to save this variable. It could be X, it could be any variable. They all hate to be around people. And this variable loves to be isolated. That's the key word there. And so variables love to be isolated or alone. Okay? Or by themselves. They love to be alone. So we're going to talk about isolating the variable. Okay? We're saving this variable from being around anything else. So let's look at our first equation. 27 equals x minus 5. What this is saying is 27 is the same as x minus 5. So some number, minus 5, is the same thing as 27. Now a lot of you can figure that out in your head. Okay? I don't want you to do that. I want you to follow these steps because right now it seems simple, but when we get into harder equations, if you don't follow these steps and try to do it mentally, you're going to be crushed. You're going to just be lost. Okay? So follow the steps. And when we get into harder equations, you'll be good to go. So x is mad, okay? This 5 is just irritating it. It hates to be around anything, so right now it's not isolated, okay? So So we need to save x and we need to isolate x. So we must find the value of x, right? That's what we're trying to find. So in this blank, we're going to put find, and it's a small blank for a lot of words. We must find the value of x. Okay, so x has some value. Now before we said x equals 2 and you plugged in 2. Or x equals -7, you plugged in -7. We don't know the variable. We don't know the value now. We have to find the value. It's kind of a mystery. It's fun. I love algebra. Alright? I know I said you can figure it out, but I want you to go through steps, okay? So we're going to play dumb. So here we're going to predict. What would x be? If 27 is 5 less than x, then x must be 5 more than 27. Okay, you can just look at that and see if this balance is true. So we're going to write all that in the blank, and we're going to write fast. So I'm just going to write out 27, or if 27 is, equals means is, 5 less than x, then, so it's an if-then statement, then x must be 5 more than 27. Now writing that, I almost just solved the equation, didn't I? Okay, all I'm doing is writing in words what this balance is showing me. If 27 is 5 less than x, then x must be 5 more than 27. Okay? Now here's how I would actually solve that. Yesterday you learned about inverse operations. That's how you solve equations. You do the opposite. So what is happening to x? It's obviously very irritated. It's not isolated. What is happening to x? Somebody tell me. Raise your hand and tell me. Look at x. What's happening? Crickets? I know some of you know. Cameron, help me out. What's happening?
It means that x minus 5 is going to be 27.
You're going too far. I'm asking a more simple question. You're going a little too far. What's just happening to x? What's this right here mean? What does this little dash and a 5 mean? Minus 5, right? X, we're subtracting 5 from x. Right?
Yeah.
So what is the inverse operation of subtracting 7? 2, 5. Subtracting 5. What's the opposite? Adding 5. Right? So what is happening is going to be your do, and it's we're subtracting 5 from x. To save x, to isolate x, we're going to do the opposite. So the opposite is going to be the undo. How do you undo subtracting 5? Add 5. So on the undo, we're going to add 5. Okay? So here it is. We're going to solve our first equation. So we're going to rewrite our equation. And you just told me how to solve it. This undo is how we're going to solve it. Okay? Now, balances, I want you to draw a line through this equal sign. If this balance is true, we cannot cross over the equal sign. Okay? We can't cross. We got to do something to this side and to this side, or we're going to be off balance. We can't do two things over here. We're going to be off kilter. Okay? So we must do the same thing to both sides to keep it balanced. So if I undo subtracting 5 by adding 5, what is negative 5 plus 5? 0, right? This cancels out. So if I add 5 over here, whoop, I'm off balance. What do I need to do on the other side? Add 5. What is 27 plus 5? 32. 32. So 32 equals, what do I have left over here? Is x happy? We got rid of that minus 5. It's isolated. Okay, you saved x. It's now happy. So x is equal to 32. Now we can check this. You will never get a wrong answer. Unless you're lazy, you will never get a wrong answer in algebra. That's the beauty of algebra. It's all going to make sense if you put it together. If you check your work, you'll never miss one. Because here, if 32 equals x, this is what we've been doing. Plugging in numbers, right? So let's plug in x. 27 equals, instead of writing x, we're going to write 32. Now is this balance, is this true? Is 27 that is the same thing as 32 minus 5?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. 32 minus 5, as Dylan told us, is 27. That's true. Okay. All right, let's try another one. So here, our variable has changed. It still wants to be alone, same personality. It's just changed its letter. So we must now find, not the value of x, we must find the value of m. We have a new mystery to solve, okay? And you can make a prediction. If m is 14 more than 5, then 5, am I saying that right? 5 is, 14 more than m, then m must be 14 less than 5. Okay, we're not going to write out a prediction. I'm running out of time on my video. But you can see that 14 plus something is 5. So m is going to be really small, right? Maybe even negative. We'll see. Okay? So what am I going to do here? We got to do our undo and undo. What is happening to n that's just irritating it? What's happening to n?
It's getting squished.
What's happening to n? We're adding what to n? Okay. 14. What's happening to n, the do, is we're adding 14. So under do, right, add 14. If I want to undo that, do the opposite. What's the opposite of adding 14? Minus. Subtracting 14. So the undo is subtracting 14. All right, so let's rewrite our equation so we can say then. All right, we're going to put that line down the equal sign so we don't cross over, okay? We have to stay, we're doing operations on one side and the same operation on the other, okay? We must keep it balanced. So my undo is what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract 14. What is 14 minus 14? 0. Remember that from yesterday? 14 minus 14 is 0. And what I do to one side of my equation, I have to do to the other. You learned that last year. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. Uh-oh. If you don't know your integers well, if you can't subtract negatives or add the opposite, you're going to be in trouble here. What is 5 minus 14? If you want to write that off to the side, you're used to seeing it like this. What do we have to do, Taylor? Very good. Add the opposite. Now I have 5 piles and 14 holes. Fill 5 of your holes. How many? I'm sorry. You got 5 of your holes. How many holes do you have left, Dylan?
9, -1.
Very good. It's going to be negative 9. Nice job. So n is negative 9. Now we can check Dylan. We can make sure that he got it right. All right, so let's plug m back in. We have 14 plus negative 9 equals 5. Is that true?
You know what
Again,
I'll just stop it and then we'll do a multiplication division video.
okay. So 14 plus negative 9, yes, it's true. That is 5. I have 14 piles and 9 holes. As Dylan said, I can fill 9 of my holes and I have 5 piles left over. Okay, so 5 is correct. All right. We just did solving equations with adding and with subtracting. Now flip your page over.
And you all are going to stop your video and you're going to open the next video.